Welcome to Our Amplified Life. Rebecca and I are here today. We just wanted to sit down and have a casual conversation about all things that have happened since January. We're kind of mid-season, what's coming up in the future, and we thought we would kind of pull you into our worlds. And I have to confess, if it were not for Rebecca's gorgeous sunny pictures and the green plants she's growing in her beautiful new greenhouse, my weather depression would be bigger, because I'm still in feet and feet of snow at the end of March. In fact, we just checked, and our first snowstorm was November 2nd. So if it's still snowing on April 2nd, that's 5 straight months of snow, and it has never left. So thank you, Rebecca, for bringing me into your sunny, beautiful world. And it's literally saved me. But
well, I just truly wish that I could whisk you away to somewhere really warm and sunny and sand filled to just really recharge your battery, because we've had really, really crummy winters here before, and I know how much that gets me down. And just you being able to show up with a beautiful smile on your face today is a huge testament to your fortitude and your character, because I definitely am affected massively by the weather, and being inundated with snow it'd be hard.
Well, I am in bright hot pink, as you can tell. And I've never needed pink more, let me tell you, because it's not just snowy, it's cold. And so, yeah, but my son's future mother-in-law, because, we've got the wedding coming up. She was in Bora Bora for a week for their 25th wedding anniversary, and she's coming home to another foot of snow. So I don't know what would be worse, to go and be in the sun and then come back to it, or just to stay and bear through it and then go when you can come back to sun. But I don't know when that would be. So I think I would take the trip over no trip. But
I agree. Speaking of weddings, I saw the beautiful dress that you're going to be wearing. So are you going to share a little bit about that?
Well, actually, I'm going for a fit on Wednesday. So I went through a lot of dresses. None of them were quite right. Some of them made me feel like I looked 80s. Some of them just were not my style and made me feel like I looked like a bridesmaid. And I think that's probably been the hardest thing for me going through this, is I'm in my 40s, and my son is a young groom. That's okay. They're totally ready. But to find a dress for a formal event has been very interesting. So I did settle on this one dress. It was too big through the hips and the waist. And they also had the bra cups put in there, which were sitting funny, and it had a train. So I found the dress I liked. It was a color that matched her wedding, because we had to be in either a pearl pink, which is like a really pale peach, or just a really blush pink. So I found a blush pink, which is one of my colors. And it just needs some work, but it also needs some accessories. So yeah, I bought a cute little belt that's going to go on it. And my sweet mom, if anybody follows me on Instagram, they probably saw a post a couple of weeks back of me standing up on a chair, and she's on the floor trying to pin it up to see if she could do the work for me and get rid of the train. So on Wednesday, she's got the train cut off, and she says she's got the sides taken in. So I'm going in for a fitting to my mom's on Wednesday. So that's pretty special.
That's exciting. And I love that it's your mama that is doing the alterations for you as well.
I don't think she loves it.
I bet not. I bet it's a little stressful for her.
Yeah, but I'm happy about it. So we'll see when I get it put on how it looks and fits, but she does great work.
She's not far, so if you need to make some minor adjustments, you can go in for a second fitting.
Yes. So speaking of things I'm doing, you have been sending me these gorgeous pictures of greenery that I am not going to see here for months. So could you tell me a little bit about which flowers you're planting and why you like those? Is it due to the weather you're at? Are they high sellers? Do you do a lot of weddings? Why don't you bring us into your world and your thought process a little bit on what you plant, why you plant it now, and how long your growing season is? Because those are my questions for you.
Goodness. Well, that's a lot. So that could be kind of an all day conversation. But yes, things are really sprouting and babies are coming to life in the greenhouse. And there's truly thousands of them in there right now, just bursting forth. So right now, because we still are very much in winter weather, it's I think last night it was 22 degrees. And so it's not something that your traditional like sunflowers or zinnias or all of the warm weather crops that you traditionally think about, those would not hack this kind of weather. And even so, right now they're in a heated enclosure. And so the things that I'm growing at this point still are being babied along a lot. It's a little stressful, but I have what's called cool season hardy annuals going right now. So there's lots of poppies and stock and goodness, there's so many. And I was just seeding more this morning. So, but I'm having a little bit of a mishmash in my brain because one of the florists that I grow for, they also used to have greenhouses and they don't have greenhouses anymore. And so they've asked me to produce as many of the bedding plants that I can for them. And so I also have the traditional like warm weather potted plants, begonias and geraniums and a bunch of supertunias and calibrachoa and things like that going now as well. So my brain is very muddled because on the cut flower farm side, where everything is going to go out in the field, then those are all the cool season hardy things that don't mind if it's cold outside. In fact, they really like it to be cold outside. They just don't like to be frozen. And then I also have the warm things that are going to be on people's patios brightening their days as well. So much learning has been happening the last several months. I have been raising cut flowers for a few years now, but this foyer into the bedding plant side is all brand new, and there's so much to learn, so much yet to be learned. And it's a little bit overwhelming, but I also really love it.
Well, I can't even keep a houseplant alive. So, you know,
well, I still kill plenty of things, but you know, I keep way more alive than I kill. So it's good.
Oh, that's amazing. And your eggs, you sent me this picture the other day with like 4 dozen eggs. And right now, they're with, I don't know if anybody's even getting their chickens to lay eggs in Utah right now. I mean, it is just those poor little chickens. And Garrett and I used to have a lot of chickens when the boys were little. And then we got rid of them because there was predators and, you know, it just, the hawks got them and we just never got them again. And my plan was to build a chicken coop this spring, but I was going to have it done by March so that we could order our chicks and have them in a brooder and have them ready to go. And that's not happening. So I'm still paying $6.99 a dozen for an egg. And
I wish I could ship you eggs because I have an overabundance of eggs, as you did see from my picture of them. Those are just the ones on the counter that they've laid in the last couple days. There's also dozens and dozens more that we've given away, but then even more dozens that are in the refrigerator. So,
well, you just need to have a fresh egg sale sign up at your house. That's what they do around here. People just deposit money and they take a dozen eggs. And so
usually we just give them to some of the guys that work for Kevin and some of the people at our church. And
that's awesome. Well, so since it's cold here and it's a little warmer there, but we know there's people that are going on vacations and living in warm weather. Like some people in the 70s and 80s right now are probably like, oh, you girls, if it was a little cooler, it would feel good. Is there one piece that you feel in our Cabby line that has brought a lot of joy to everyone across the board, no matter their temperature?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hmm. Well, I would say the Highclere Trench has been bringing a lot of joy to a lot of my clients. That has been a very much loved piece. And if you see me looking around, I'm looking at the racks of clothes trying to be like, which one of you? Which one of you? And that's like trying to pick your favorite child. But I do think that Highclere Trench on my end that's been bringing a lot of joy to people.
Well, and along that line, the Spectator blouse has been a good one too. For some reason, that light fabrication with the polka dots just seems to make them happy. And it's not a bright color, so it's interesting, but it's the fabric and the way they feel, and it has been really, really fun to see.
Well, it's like they get their own little Julia Roberts moment.
Yes.
It's just incredible. And that is one of the things that I love most about what we do is to see that transformation of a woman that's maybe not feeling so great. And then she puts something on and she just lights up. That makes my day.
It makes mine too. And you know, it's so cute. You know, I've been bringing Breely, my 12-year-old. She'll be 13 in April. So she's counting down the days to be a teenager. I'm wanting them to slow down a little. But she's really funny. She'll talk to my clients and hear them. And I had one gal come up to me, and I guess she came to my show with she wanted to wear like an army camo t-shirt and some leggings because of our zipline skirt. And so this gal was really cute. She was trying to talk to Breely and ask her what she liked. And she said, well, she said to my daughter, well, you're dressed kind of plain today. What prints do you like? Meaning like, and Breely, I guess, said to her, well, I like all of them, but I'm not such a bold dresser. And so I just like to look at them. And she told me that later and said it was the cutest thing because there's not a lot of younger girls that speak like that. You know, she was just saying she's not really that bold. And actually, Breely has really cute taste, but she doesn't like to print mix too much. And so it was interesting. Even a 12-year-old is picking up on how she feels. And I think that's just a natural thing. We just don't always attach it to our clothes. But the textiles, I think, are really, really beautiful this season as well. And whether you're in a cold climate or you just need 100% cotton, like our new arrival shirt we just had in the leisure top, to let the air flow and just feel good. I am so impressed with this collection and the smiles, like you said, that it's brought on our clients. It's just absolutely been incredible to watch. And one thing that I've been noticing, I have a lot of clients that are, you know, you and I have been around a long time. So they're teetering from being employed, full-time employees, to more on the retirement side of things. And they don't have to go to scratchy clothes from Costco. You know, they can go, and not that all the clothes are scratchy from Costco. There's some great stuff there, but they don't have to just dump all the stuff they've invested in all this time either. And this collection, from the flagging to the pogger, they're all very transitional pieces, whether you're going on a vacation or you're in the corporate world, or maybe you're just kind of easing out of that full-time job. It's really been amazing to watch and look at.
Yeah. And just aiding in that reinvention, because I think sometimes when you are transitioning out of one place and into another, it feels like you have to do a complete clean out and restart. And maybe that's what you want to do, but you don't necessarily need to, because you can mix and match, especially with cabbie, because even our Ponte trousers and stuff, for the most part, I mean, you can wear those very casually with sneakers and things. And so it's just kind of thinking about your clothes a little bit different. And that's always been a fun challenge for myself personally, but then also with my clients and my friends. And I was just having a conversation the other night with one of my friends at a show, and she was just having, she was kind of having a time. I mean, just not feeling great about herself. And I can totally relate to that. And I think that there's just different seasons of our life where, you know, things are not quite like we would maybe have them or what we thought they would be. And being able to find pieces that you feel great in and you look great in, it does make a difference. I think that is it in the front of our catalog or something that it talks about how clothes may not make a woman or something along those lines. But I just know that when we are put together, when we're in things that make us feel good and look good, no matter where we're at size wise, it makes a huge difference.
Well, and that's why we always say buy for your body now, right? Every woman should have at least a blazer and a pair of pants that they can fit into now. And generally their journey, whatever it is, will continue and be better. Speaking of journey, since it is kind of mid-season, we're doing a check-in. I don't know how many of, at least my clients may not know this about you. I'm sure yours do, but not only do you do fresh cut flowers, and now you're doing another part of flowers for other florists and Cabby, but this is starting to get into your busy time with judging for horses, and like you are going to be very busy. So how do you find the balance and the time? And where do you feel like, because everything you do is very time consuming. So if you have any advice for anybody, how do you maintain that and still feel like you're giving yourself some R&R? Does that make sense?
Yes. Well, there's not a lot of R&R that happens this time of the year. I'll just be completely honest. Usually in the wintertime, that's when I catch up on a little bit of R&R and some book reading. And, you know, I've not quilted for the last several years, and I'd like to bring that hobby back up to the forefront here one day. But my quilting time seems to be filled with building or remodeling projects, and I don't see that happening in the next changing in the next few years. So there's not a lot of R&R this time of the year. But with that being said, I also find immense amounts of joy and fulfillment in what I do. And so I was talking to a group of high schoolers here last fall. It was for a career day, and one of them asked about vacations. And I said, well, I guess I can't tell you that I've ever really taken a vacation. And that's true. But I also have cultivated kind of an area of vacation at my house. And so when I'm home, when we're home together, that's really like vacation. The other exciting thing is I'm judging a show later on this fall, and my mom's going to be able to come up and stay at our house while because Kevin's going to go along, I think, unless he bails out on me, which I don't think he'll chicken out. But anyway, we're going to get to go away together, and I'm going to be judging, but I'm going to be in an area where he can fish and do some things. And so that's our vacation. It'll be a working vacation, but it'll be good. So I think you just, and like I told the high school kids, you build a life you love and you don't have to get away from it. And that's what I've really been working hard at the last few years, is just, you know, picking things based on what brings me joy, what fills my cup, surrounding myself with people that bring me joy and fill my cup. And then, you know, life, I don't have to run away from it so much. If I was in snow, I would have to run away. But how about you, Amy?
Normally, I don't want to run away from the snow. Normally, I'm out hiking in it and doing the fun things. And Utah generally has some of the most beautiful winter days, bluebird days ever. But because it's literally snowed probably 5 out of 7 days every week and been cold and yucky, you might get 30 minutes here, maybe 30 minutes there of blue skies and sunshine. And it has been different. Now, people that ski and want to go on this slopes have absolutely loved it. They do not want the winter to end. And I get that because they are going, they have season passes, they're up where they want to be, and it doesn't matter. But for me, hiking is like, that's my escape. And so I want to hike in sunshine and get a little vitamin D and take my dogs and not worry about freezing before I get home and having the wind blowing in my face. So it has definitely been different, but I agree. I think because Garrett and I really don't go on many vacations. We like our bed. We like the convenience of home. And we really do, like, we have kind of crazy diet restrictions. And so traveling can be hard, and we're all, but I wouldn't mind. And what's funny is I love the ocean and I love the beach. I just don't want to be in the water. So it's hard for me to justify wanting to go just to dip my toes in when I could do that at a lake or something closer by. But
there is something though about the waves of the ocean crashing against the shoreline that you don't get in any other body of water. So even if you only want to stick your feet in, there is just something so rejuvenating.
Yeah. So there's that, but I agree, when we're back on our property and in our pavilion and we can just sit in the swing and we don't even say anything, that's exactly what you want to do when you're relaxing. So most of the time we get to enjoy that year round, and it's been a really good thing. It's been great for us. And, now we have our fire pit. We haven't used it this winter because it's buried. Garrett scraped it out and melted it once or twice, but the benches just keep getting buried. But we do live on a mountain, and we live where a lot of people would want to go stay in a cabin. And I don't have a neighbor. We don't have traffic. So we have built that life we want. There's pros and cons to everything, right? But the only thing I am saying with the winter is our wedding is June 3rd. They're getting married over in Promontory at one of the country clubs. I live just outside of Park City, so we are in the same county. It's a ski resort town. The golf courses, though, are always wanting to be open by May at the latest, and they're getting married over golf course. So we are praying that they can be married out on the balcony, where that is their dream and their vision. And the rehearsal dinner is supposed to be, it's going to happen, right? It's supposed to be up at our building, back on our property, overlooking the water. And if it's muddy, nobody will be able to get to it. So it's not.
Well, my prayer that I've been praying for you is that you have a slow warm up so that there's not massive all at once runoff. And that your mountain road will be still in place. And yet there's going to be a lot of water in your pond, which is going to make it even more beautiful.
That's what I keep telling myself. But for those of you guys that don't know, Utah just passed a 40-year record of water. So it's not the snowpack. Of course, that plays into it, but inches in water that we have this year, a 40-year record. And in 1983, 40 years ago, so Salt Lake is in a valley, but it's like the mountain comes into the valley. And there are pictures of people canoeing down the street. And I mean, I remember I was only, I think, 9, but I remember being really cold, and my mom and dad took us to go get sandbags, and just wondering why I was there, wanting to get home. My hands were freezing. And I remember them sandbagging, and that was 40 years ago this year. And so I'm afraid even with a slow melt, there's still going to be an immense amount of water that just has nowhere to go. The Great Salt Lake has been really, really low, and so it will help. But they said we need like 3 more winters to even fill the Great Salt Lake back up like this. So this is a record-breaking winter. I think this is going to set records for decades because we have not seen this for so long. We were back at our pavilion the other day, and so we live in the mountain desert. So on the south facing side where the sun hits, it's melted and come back and melted. But on the north side where it really rarely gets any sun, we're not that high in altitude either. We still have 5 and 6 foot drifts. And that was before this last weekend. So like just around the trees, you can get stuck so easily. They're 5 and 6 feet tall. And so there's just a ton of water, and it's loose gravel back here. So when we had flash floods a couple of years ago, we had 4 feet worth of rocks that came down. It's lovely. I'm actually, as bad as it sounds, I'm actually really excited for the green that's going to come with it. I just hope our animals can hold on, and, we're running out of hay. So that's the poor farmers that have a lot of livestock to feed. I worry for them, so.
Well, is all of this snow because of the atmospheric rivers that have been hitting California, and those are just like coming over to you in the form of snow? Is that what's happening? Or
I don't watch the news much, so I have no idea. My daughter that's 12, Breely, she is addicted to the weather apps, and she's like, Mom, it's going to snow. And I said, Breely, stop. I don't even care. When I grew up, we'd just walk out the door and see what it was. And that is still better for me. I don't like to look at the weather and go, oh. And so I use an app that's kind of funny just to get me through the day, because I'd rather just have a sense of humor about it, even though sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, like if you could see the snowflakes that I'm looking at right now, it's honestly insane. But I don't want to know. So honestly, I don't know. It's got to be because Tahoe is buried. There's like 6-7 foot walls of people trying to get into their houses in Lake Tahoe. So it's got to be connected, but I don't know. I don't watch the news. So
yeah, I've always been in the I don't want to know camp as well, and just whatever life brings it, whatever the weather brings is what happens. And I have had to be very dialed in, especially to nighttime, well, both night and day. But with my little babies, I have to make sure that they don't freeze their little leaves off. So,
but they won't
now,
in your greenhouse. What's the lowest temperature? I mean, at night, it probably still gets pretty cold.
It does, yeah. And I only have heat in one portion of it. And so that portion I keep above 40 degrees. They would really like it to be warmer than that, but I just can't make that happen at this point. And everybody's hanging in there. I think they're just going to go home to their new homes and be way tougher, is what I keep telling myself. And the people that get them are going to be like, wow, these are the toughest plants I've ever had. And it's awesome, because they've had to be. But yeah, like this morning, it was 22 degrees outside, and it was 27 in the main portion of the greenhouse, and then 44 under the heated part.
Okay, so how are you not having freeze then? Because do you still cover them inside? Or is it just that there's no frost because they're in? I don't know anything about that.
The only thing I have that is not underneath the heated 44 degree thing is the ranunculus and anemones, and those can get down. They say 28. Some people say a little bit cooler. They got 27 last night, and so far they look okay. But I throw a row cover or a frost blanket over the top of them at night. They like it cooler. So, but they like it cool to a point. Yeah. They're kind of like me. They have their limits. So, well, but all plants are different.
I just bumped my computer. Sorry. Before we wrap up, is there one thing that you hope to achieve? It can be cabby, not cabby. One thing that you're really looking forward to, or just what's one thing that is kind of keeping you going forward on the stressful days that you're looking forward to come the end of this season, June-ish?
One thing. Well, I'm excited about finishing this cabbie season strong because we have an incredible collection. I'm also excited. I got to do more than one thing.
Okay. That's okay.
I'm excited about figuring out my delivery route for flowers because that's going to be way different. And so there's lots of things I'm excited about, but all good things are coming. I was just telling, so the other thing is, a friend of mine had a birthday last week and she was less than thrilled about it. And I truly believe that our best days are ahead of us. And so that's kind of the way I look at things and try to keep myself going is, I'm always looking for the next best thing. I don't know if that's a healthy thing or not, but that's kind of
it is.
The way I look at stuff.
I mean, if we got stuck we'd be in a rut, right? If all we did was circle back to what's happening right now. So I think
when I allow myself to not like live in that forward momentum, that's when I get really down and I have to, hurry up and get myself snapped out of it. Otherwise it would be probably not pretty. So I don't really think a lot about what's happening. I kind of try to keep my focus forward, and I seem to stay mentally healthy a lot better that way.
Yeah. Well, and I'm just excited for the wedding. So, Breely is so thrilled to be a bridesmaid. And honestly, I think it's going to be absolutely a beautiful wedding, no matter the weather. And I'm just really excited for my son. He's loved this sweet girl from their first date. And she's been a part of our family for so many years already. And I love her family. And I'm just really looking forward to spending a day celebrating them. But on that note as well, this has already been an incredible cabbie season. And I love locking arms with women and having them lock arms with me. And I kind of have had a few pinch myself moments at my shows. You look around at the women that are invited. And the one thing I want to say, if you host a show or if you invite women to a show, or if you're a woman that's been invited, you should feel very honored. And I look around the class of women that come and the way they treat each other and the kindness that they show. They're so humble. And oh my gosh, it's been such an honor to have my daughter exposed to that kind of diversity. And I'm calling that diversity because women from all backgrounds that come together because they love each other. And I think that is one of the most rare things that we have anymore, especially as the world gets angrier and meaner. I have literally looked around and had tears come to my eyes and just pinched myself thinking, I can't believe this is what I do. How blessed am I? And so.
Amy, you said that so beautifully. Yeah, I feel the same way. I have this one particular town that I've been doing a lot of shows down there, about one a month. And I was just having the thought coming home the other night that, it's all because of one woman that I met all the rest of these women down there. And now they've truly become some of my closest friends. I just love that you meet people in business, but it doesn't stay that way. They just become friends and like family, and they're your support group and your mentors and your encouragers. And that's just what life should be about.
Yeah. How cool is that I get to expose my daughter, right? If we all got to go through that, and she's at that age where she's feeling a little awkward and maybe having self-doubts. And I love that she can look around and they are boosting her every minute. And if I could reach through this screen and hug all of my clients and just kiss them to death because they are helping me raise my daughter. I mean, how cool is that? So I try and tell them that they are making an impact that's going to go way beyond what they even have a clue about. But, I feel so much gratitude right now. And as we're talking about this, the blue sky is starting to peak, and it almost just brought tears to my eyes because I need the sun. And but I want you to know, Rebecca, your partnership with me, and our girls that are so faithful to join us and to comment and, to watch these every single week. You guys have no idea that what you do for us. And Rebecca has seen me through a lot, especially in the last year. And I'm so glad that I have you in my life. Truly.
Oh, ditto, my friend. Ditto. Oh my goodness, you guys. Well, this has been a lovely conversation, and we hope that you enjoyed going on this little trip kind of down memory lane and our forward-looking thoughts and just the conversation between friends today. And I'm sure that you can see the love that we feel for each other, and you hear the love that we feel for you. And we just want to make sure that you know that you make a difference. So you may not even know whose life you're impacting today, but you are. So stay strong, stay loving, and we can't wait to see you next week.